to this very special edition of the KJ Masterclass Live, the show which ensures that you profit from your time spent here with experts, either through their industry insights, information, or simply learning from them. And today we have Steve Cloward. He's an entrepreneur, he's a co-founder of Backbone Media Solutions, and he helps course creators and online businesses thrive with our all-in-one easy with their all-in-one easy-to-use sales and marketing solution. Welcome to the show, Steve.
Hey, thank you. Appreciate you having me here today.
Welcome to the show. Welcome to India. Welcome to, I'm sure a lot of people, not just in India, but all across the globe will be able to benefit from what you are going to speak about. And we'll be talking about how to let go of your past and embrace your future. So my first question to you, Steve, is people say that you are the sum total of all the people you have met, of all the incidences in your life.
Yeah.
And you talk about letting go of your past and embracing your future. How does one compartmentalize their life? Is it that easy? How did you do it? How do you put it for a common man's understanding?
That's actually why I focus on that and help people with that, because I was allowed myself to be a victim of that. I was addicted to opiates for 14 years after being diagnosed with Crohn's disease, almost 20 plus years ago now. But then I got sober, and I had a large appraisal firm, real estate appraisal firm, and I was developing things, and my appraisal firm got thrown into a federal indictment, which about 2 years later, I found myself going to federal prison. And when I got out of prison, I had lost my identity. I wasn't sure who I was. I lost my confidence. And so for the next 8 years, I sat there trying to figure things out. And instead of doing the things that I really knew from experience, I forgot. And a lot of this was because of lacking confidence and feeling like, basically not feeling like I was worth anything. I had played stories in my mind and allowed myself to buy into those stupid stories, which built on them in a negative way. So for those 8 years, even though I was hiring coaches and buying courses and all these things, I just thought, if I hire that right manager for the business I had at the time, that, maybe that'll turn things around, when the bottom line is nobody was coming to save me. And the success that I had in the past, one of the biggest things is it didn't happen overnight, but yet I wanted to think that it did, and when you are in that type of a mindset, lacking confidence and or thinking that you got to the level of success that I had and thought it happened overnight, then you're not going to do the things, the small things every single day with consistency to build that confidence back in order to then reclaim your life, which is what I finally did after, replaying all these victim thoughts in my mind and grabbing on and holding on to them.
Absolutely, Steve. And that is what the learning is, what you can give to a lot of people, which you are already doing, that how to, look at the finer points, the good points in your life, and start rebuilding your life that you earlier had. And that is where we'll want to understand how to get started. But in your case, Steve, you had an illness, then you dealt with it, then you built up a real estate appraisal firm, and then you actually were successful into that. And then this whole prison thing happened, and then you lost your confidence. How does it actually impact? Is it that you forget everything? I know what you actually mean by that. Even as an individual, even I can face the brunt of all this negative stuff that mind creates if you pass through some negative time. I know it, but for the viewers, for the audience, for them to understand you are the master, I am not the master, they will not listen to me, they will listen to you. How does it impact? Why does it impact? Why does the mind not allow to think you to think that, listen, you have that past of success.
Right.
Why does it always think about the negative, not the successful part that you have undertaken this journey and you can take it again? Why is it so difficult to, bring back yourself back into that reckoning and create back what you lost? How does it work? How did it work for you?
That's a great question. And I would hope and believe that most people wouldn't take as long as me. And because one thing that I do now is I take extreme ownership for everything. So I believe without a doubt, everything that I have in my life to this moment, right here and right now, is a direct result of decisions and choices I made, nobody else. And so I was allowing myself just to stay in that position by choice, frankly. And when I say accountability, that means I'll own it. And I was frankly, there was some laziness, I believe, along with the confidence, lack of confidence, etc. But, the simplest way to do it is understanding that the subconscious mind has about 70,000 thoughts going through it every single day. And most of those are negative, and they're mostly there to, quote, protect us. And one of the biggest things that we seem to hold on to is, if you look back when you're a very, very young child and you enter this world, you dream, you can catch young babies, just spacing off and then maybe giggling out of the blue, and who knows exactly what's going on, but they haven't been told what they can't accomplish, what they can't do. But as parents in society, most of us are just automatically conditioned. You see a baby getting into something, and it's not they're doing anything wrong, they don't know, but we're saying stop or don't stop, don't do this, and so we slowly erode that away. And so when you understand what's going on in your mind, and it's no different than an addiction, which I had for 14 years. You're not going to get sober from addiction if you don't realize you have a problem. And it's not that the subconscious is a problem, because that's just the way the human mind is. It's just recognizing what it is that you're buying into, because thoughts are just things. They're not right. They're not wrong. And beliefs, we all have different beliefs, but those beliefs are just simply from the experience that we've had in life, things we're exposed to. And that's it. They're not right or wrong. And so when you can understand that these thoughts are happening and that then you're buying into whatever they may be, you're creating a story around those, which is usually more negativity. And so once I started to realize what it was that allowed me to be successful, there's a lot of different things, but to me, number one, it's who you surround yourself with. So I started being around successful people. For a long time, I didn't feel worthy because I had lost everything. I mean, I lost everything except for my family, which is the most important thing. So, if you focus also on gratitude and the positives, even when you think life is tough or terrible, you have to understand that there's always people that have a lot worse. So it's what we focus on. And the biggest, most powerful thing that I did that helped me finally shift and reclaim my life is I created what was called a conscious self-creation statement. And that was something that I wrote out, and it's basically defining what I have in my life. And whether it's, health, powerful marriage, great family, kids, with health and happiness, successful business, whatever, spiritual, you focus on every part of your life. And I finally memorized that. And I literally would say that every morning when I would step into the shower. I would just start to recite it to myself, because they say the most powerful way to learn and to impact, your life is to hear it, see it, write it, and read it. I was doing 2 of the 4 every day. And I can tell you that everything that I spoke of in that conscious self-creation statement manifested itself in my life within 2 years, other than 2 things. And so we don't understand, I don't believe, as human beings, the power that we have, the power of words, that we are just energetic beings. We're spiritual beings, but we're made of energy. And based on the vibration we put out, that's what affects our lives in ways that I don't think most people, including myself, totally can comprehend. But I've lived life, with being negative thoughts and seen the results I have. And then I've lived life a few times by taking control and being intentional and doing the things that I did and seeing what manifested in my life. And there's no doubt that I can say without a doubt, that is a fact. It is the way it works.
Absolutely, Steve. Absolutely. It is not just the Alexas or the phones which we keep on listening. The biggest listener is the universe. And what you
Amen.
think, what you speak, the universe turns things accordingly. So if you live a life of gratitude, if you have that positive mindset, the universe will create your universe in that same spirit. I totally agree to that. Now let's look at this whole thing about the issue when you lose your confidence. One is the common person. He is also important to himself, but then his area is limited to in a limited manner. But as an entrepreneur, you can lose your business, your standing for whatever reasons. In your case, it was something else. In other cases, it can be an economic downturn. It can be any other reason like COVID. So many businesses suffered. How do they think differently than others? I know they are also human beings. They are like any other common person, but they know how to take care of so many things at the same time. When you build business, you build many lives all together also, and along with that, you also build up your own life. You start building up your managing your affairs, your work-life balance, your relationship with your family. You take them into confidence as you build your business. What is it that can, entrepreneurs can learn out of this? Economic downturn, any sort of downturn, any, asteroid can hit your business, anything can happen. How do you keep those, important part, the soul of your entrepreneurship intact with you so that you can always rebuild wherever you want to do that? How did you do it and come back with such a strong force?
Well, that's a great question because, once again, it really comes back to what you focus on. If, something comes, like what we experienced with COVID and it hurts your business, what is the position you take from a mental standpoint? Are you focusing on the poor me and this is, they're screwing me over, making me shut down? Or are you being intentional and thinking of what shifts you can make either with your current business that would impact it in a positive way, or if it is such that there is, something that you just can't do from, you can't make some sort of paradigm shift that would help you continue on, are you going to be honest to yourself and also have the right attitude to see what you need to shift or, turn to create something different? And that oftentimes will just either scare people because maybe it's something they're not haven't done. So they'll discount the fact that they have the abilities, which is just, once again, the thoughts and the beliefs. It just comes down to what you choose to do. And, if you can, it's easy to say, but if you can find a need in the marketplace and fill it, that's the best way, especially if it's something that involves something that you truly care about or are passionate about. But the one, I guess the biggest key point for me is if you can continue to do the small things, no matter what's being thrown at you, no matter what, speed bumps run in your path, whatever it is, if you'll make sure to not let go of the small little habits that are so easy to discount, but yet have the most power. And I'm talking things that help you as an individual. I do them in the morning, like you mentioned, gratitude is huge. I wake up focused on that. That's the first thing I do. And then it's all about, what are you going to do to fill your minds, and spirits from a spiritual standpoint? Are you reading or are you listening to certain podcasts that will, help you? Because oftentimes we forget about ourselves. Even as you can have successful business, from a standpoint of income and all those things. But hell, if you're, not doing the things to take care of yourself, and neglecting all the other areas of your life, you're number one, you're not going to be happy. And those other things are going to suffer. And we're talking obviously relationships and health and those kind of things. So no matter what happens, make sure you don't forget to take care of you first, because you can't take care of your business in the way that you need to, or other people, frankly, unless you've taken care of yourself first.
Absolutely, Steve. You got to take care of yourself first, and also you need to take care of your family, because while you are building your life or your business, your family has to, bear with all your absence and putting so much of effort while building your business. But it is a much more difficult thing when you have to go to, away for 14 months, 18 months, and that too, life becomes very difficult to predict. How did you manage to, amidst all these things, you have managed to keep your personal life very much intact, a very happy marriage for 33 long years? It is indeed commendable. What is the secret? What would you like to tell people about their managing their personal life well, giving importance to their personal relationship, and to make sure that the most important things are also never left behind?
Well, first of all, you got to get a little bit lucky to have a woman like the one I married to put up with the crap that I put her through. But, it's like anything. It's so easy when you run into tough situations to think that the grass is greener, or if in business, it's being tough and you're not willing to pay your dues to get to the other side. And most of the time, people quit right before the breakthrough. But in regards to my marriage, it was not that great for most of the time, and I was a big reason for that, because the opiates took over and your brain chemistry shifts. But obviously, and we did 2 years in, I left 3 times over almost a 2-year period. And I'm very grateful and lucky that my attorney was lazy, and or we probably would have been divorced, honestly. And there was some crazy situations that came into play that, I can only say a higher power, God, whatever played a part in. And that's a crazy story, but the way that kind of things stayed together when they should have been done. And that had to do with the fog lifting when I got off opiates. But obviously I was lucky to have a woman who wouldn't give up. And then, realizing that you can trade in a relationship for another, but you're just trading one set of problems for another set. So you can either stay and understand that it's work, and that as men and women, we're very different. And you have to decide, are you going to be, selfless, not to the point of you're getting abused or taken advantage of, but communication is huge. But the biggest thing to a successful relationship, and I'm talking business or to your spouse, whether you're married or not, is don't live in expectations. You need to live in agreements, which means you speak about situations and come up with the agreement of how they'd be handled. Because if I'm sitting there and thinking, well, she should have done this or she should have done that, she's not a mind reader, and neither am I. So she can't expect me to do things if I'm not aware. So you have to be able to speak about things and have an understanding, and you agree, and it eliminates so much brain damage. And same within business, and that's really one of the biggest keys, is just being committed, understanding that it takes work. It's like when you're courting somebody and, you want that person to be your girlfriend or your wife, your husband, whatever it is. Why is it that we put all this energy and effort into, the night on the town or the date, whatever it is, and thinking and being creative sometimes about, making up that fun evening? But once you get married, or once you commit to each other and live together, whatever it is, where you're just the two of you, do you forget to put in the effort? It's not that you forget, it's you take things for granted. And that's the biggest lesson that hit me so hard when I was 3 weeks into, well, not even 3 weeks, but anyway, it was several days, honestly. You realize the things you love the most are the people you hurt the most, actually. And, because you take it for granted. You're not consciously doing it, but that's what happens a lot of times. And so, if you don't water it, it's not going to grow. So if I've been married for 33 years, like you said, just June 9th, 2 weeks ago. And we'd have never made it that far, but we made a decision, and we decided we were going to be committed and that we were going to work at it. And, that's really the biggest thing. And whether it's business or relationship, are you going to give up when it gets tough, or are you going to get going?
Absolutely. Absolutely, Steve. There is so much to, understand from you about life, about entrepreneurship. How can people connect with you? And also, you have a podcast. You are the podcast host of Life After Addiction and Indictment. So tell us about that, so that people can know more about you, about your guests, and learn more about life and entrepreneurship.
You bet. I appreciate that. Yeah. Life After Addiction Indictment. And basically I created that because I wanted to help people understand how that we're allowing their, past to get in the way of their future, how they could reclaim their life through entrepreneurship and through mindset, because that's what I did, And so if I can help people not waste 8 years, so I have, basically entrepreneurs come on, people that are, expert in their area, whether it's mindset, whether it's marketing, sales, whatever it is. So many people, especially if they're felons, you're kind of limited on what you can do, or as far as getting jobs. And so the way that you can really take control of your life is to chase your dream and go build that business that you've always thought about, but were afraid of. Or, so many people think they have to come up with a product. Maybe they don't have a product or a service. Well, that's one of the things that, I've built the last year is a software platform called Backbone, and it's at backbonelms.io, and it's the all-in-one sales and marketing platform. As a business owner, entrepreneur, whether it's coaching, consulting, it could even be brick and mortar business. There are certain things you need to do and tools you need to have in order to compete these days, in order to get more leads and customers. And you might need between 3 to 7 different subscriptions to different tools. Backbone has basically everything under one roof. It has your online booking calendar. You can build funnels, websites. It's a full CRM with pipeline. You can call out of it. It has two-way texting. You can have all of your, your DMs, your emails, everything coming into one inbox. And the great thing about it is, like I was mentioning, if you don't have a product, is okay, that's not a problem until maybe you do figure one out. But in the meantime, if you want to start your own business, start making money, particularly passive recurring income, Backbone has a 40%, affiliate program. And, that's pretty strong, and it's recurring. So, and it's a very sticky product, because once a business tries it, they don't let it go, because they're able to cancel all their other subscriptions. And actually 9 times out of 10, it's saving them money. And so, you just go and sell somebody else's product until you figure one out. And if you don't one day, it doesn't matter, because if you get the right products that stick, especially, there's so many out there that you can sell and make commissions on, but if you can find one that's recurring, that's the best business to have, because otherwise you're starting over every single day, having to resell. So why not build something up that can pay you every month, month in, month out? And it also allows you to work anywhere you want. You don't have to have an office. As long as you have a laptop, you can be anywhere in the world.
Absolutely. With this, it's a wrap on this very special edition of the KJ Masterclass Live. Thank you so much indeed for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me.